Game number 1, semi-final number 2, everybody. We have a Nightelf versus Orc in our midst here. Concealed Hill is the first map in the best of 3 series. We are in the last Endgame Gear Master Qualifier. All the players are going to try and get additional points now to qualify for the playoffs and obviously for the final event, the offline final in Germany, in Osnabrück at the Esports factory on the 17th of August. 2 days after my birthday, I'm going to be there. The top 4 players are going to be there. There's going to be a couple of guests too. And, well, it's open to the public. So if you want to check it out, you're welcome to stop by and have a look. If you want more information about where to attend the event and what exactly is going to happen there, you can go to endgamegear-masters.com and have a look on the website and look up the details. With that said, we're currently having down to the bottom of the map another Orc player that wants to make it not only into the playoffs but to the offline event as well. And in this case it is Bizzare, and I'm not quite certain if this is the first qualifier that Bizzare has played or not, but I am pretty sure that he doesn't have any points to his name. And he starts things off with a Shadowhunter. Shadowhunter opening for him, and up to the top right, what do we have for the Nightelf? Keeper of the Grove immediately. Actually, for me, it's still the Keeper of the Groove, because that guy is just grooving around all game long. And I mean, he's a little bit mossy on the beard and on the portrait, but I'm not quite sure what you would do if you would spend your entire life in a grove. So yeah, he's grooving around here. So with that said, Bizzare, obviously, if he makes it into the grand final, would face off against another Orc, since Cash was able to take down Ente in the second semifinal, or the first semifinal. And yeah, another Orc versus Orc would be quite interesting here, because no matter who wins this tournament, he is pretty much guaranteed to have a spot in the playoffs. Ente, despite the fact that he just lost in the semis, is very likely also going to be within the top 8 and therefore able to participate in the playoffs. But 6 points should be enough for either one of these players that makes it into the grand final and takes it to secure themselves a spot there as well. And actually, talking about that, we're actually seeing Neutron, our Nightelf player towards the top right, in a position where he already has a lot of points. I mean, he's pretty much the second slot already in the standings here. And if he wins the tournament, I believe he actually even has a chance to overcome Foggy and get the #1 seed in the standings, which would be great, obviously, for his playoff bracket. Initially, I actually thought that there was no chance that he can overtake Foggy in terms of points, but I think if he wins the tournament, he actually pulls it off. So right now, we have the Keeper on level 2. And we have a Tree of Life already put into play here, as the Shadowhunter, obviously with a focus into the Serpent Wards, is currently doing pretty well there. And high-level Serpent Wards, honestly, they just destroy any kind of unarmored unit. When we're talking about Huntress, for example, when we're talking about, I don't know, Dryads, whatever, you name it, those Serpent Wards are absolutely brutal. And later on in the game, I mean, again, it's not only against those armor types that you do a lot of damage, but those are obviously the ones where you dish out the most. So the Keeper finds the early, not only Circle of Nobility, but we're also have him here now with the Crystal Ball. But yeah, it's a pretty cool setup that we have for our second semi. I'm actually pretty happy with this. I would have loved Hawk, for example, who also participated in this last qualifier, to get a little bit deeper into the tournament as well. Having another human player fight for a chance to make it into the playoffs would have been quite cool. But right now, having Orcs at least succeed here outside of Spiral, who obviously is already qualified for the playoffs, is pretty fantastic. The early level 3 for the Keeper is definitely great for Neutron as well. We're having the Shadowhunter with the Healing Wave after the Serpent Wards, now also striving to get the next level. And he has a chance to make that happen. Also +6 attack upgrades for him now too. Attack upgrades in the sense, not 6 attack, that would be a little bit insane, but +6 attack is what he gets in the damage bonus. This, on the other hand, could become a problem. I mean, he stops that a little bit thanks to the Serpent Ward that he has. But yes, with that Shadowhunter being this low, this could be a disaster. I'm actually shocked that he entangles the Grunt. But yeah, grunts are definitely going to suffer here a lot, but I also know that if he starts entangling that Shadow Hunter, that one is having a problem too. And oh my god, that's a grunt down already. Bizzare is already in trouble. I mean, that's 2 of them entangled. He didn't even want to go for the Shadow Hunter. Keep in mind, there is no town portal. He actually sold the town portal for additional items, which we oftentimes see. But this entire army is having trouble, and quite a lot of trouble at that. Yeah, those archers are taking 1 unit down after another. Another entangle comes in. There's the second hero at least. And honestly, Cleave later on is going to do a number on all those tier 1 units. That's definitely true. I mean, already we have Cleave being used here, but right now it's not doing as much damage. Grunt goes down, no experience, got denied. But he lost a lot. Neutron is on 31 supply now against 25. Bizzare has lost a lot with this. But he is still in a spot where he actually goes now into the Torrent Totem. He has reached tier 2, he has a second hero in play. There's obviously an expansion for his opponent that hasn't quite paid off yet. But just generally speaking, that Creepjack hurt. And it hurt a lot. So now we're looking at a single grunt that is still there. And that's just not enough. There's obviously an attempt now to go for a bit of additional experience by finally taking down that rock golem and taking care of that. But there's already a second setup from Neutron as he's moving in with the Alchemist as his second hero. And this is just going to make things matter. This is going to make matters worse now. He can go for another grunt here. It's already starting to attack this. Yeah, Bizarre's Pit Lord is in trouble now too. And all of this is starting to get taken down slowly and steadily. A massive focus fire, and guys, that guy is gonna go down. Yep, that's the end of the Pit Lord, and this is an absolute disaster in the early game for Bizzare. The Orc player is in trouble, and he knows it too. There's an expansion against him. We're having another grunt nearly falling. He barely saves him here. Or does he even? Was trying to go for the entangle, didn't get that in. But, yep. Can they still get him? Yes. Grunt still goes down, and he's gonna get another one, doesn't he? Bizzare gets completely destroyed here. We're having still Tree of Ages, so there's no tier 2 tech yet, but as you can tell, there is just everything seems to be lost. 25 supply against currently 39, the expansion running, and the hero levels, they speak volumes too. 3-1 is the setup with, well, that's a nice block here. That could be a problem. Okay, Shadow Hunter is able to get out because, well, he's an Orc hero, and the real hero that they are trying to force to Town Portal was actually the Keeper, and they were successfully pulling that one off. But yeah, Neutron is at 46 supply right now. Has a lot of items also. Potion of Healing, Potion of Mana, Staff of Preservation. Has actually tagged into tier 2 over here already. I think I actually called out earlier that it's still tier 1, so my apologies for that. Definitely misspoke there. But yeah, he has, with a second hero in play, obviously you have already your tier 2 reached. So, sorry, just realizing now that I kind of screwed that up a little bit. Bizzare getting surrounded here again, and things are just getting worse and worse and worse for him. I mean, that's another kill against the Pit Lord right here. That's another kill against the Pit Lord, and well, now we're talking more experience for the Alchemist. We're talking another grunt falling. This entire game has just been an absolute meltdown of the Orc player that has been just turned into a pulp here. He just has nothing that he can throw against his opponent, it seems. And in the base, we have now a Tree of Eternity tech that's already happening at this point. And, well, there's the first Ancient of Lore, the second one is being built. Moonwells are coming in, and right now Neutron doesn't even know what to attack first. He also has the first Mountain Giant with the setup, so the meat shield is up at the front where he can start blocking. So that the archers have a bit of a better day here. And he himself has now an easy chance to go for, well, for items and for experience, and that's exactly what he's doing. Starting to focus down the Orc Lord. Yeah, and this one is gonna die quickly. That's a level up for both heroes, and it, oh my god, the Ancient Jango of Endurance, really? He gets the Endurance aura from the Tauren Chieftain. This is not Bizarre's game. He is having a lot of trouble here. He gets creep-checked the entire time, and now his opponent is also getting fantastic items for his setup while he's trying to get his hero onto a higher level, so yeah, definitely problematic. Now, Bizzare is still hoping that with a high-level Pit Lord he can get the cleave in and really destroy at least tier 1 units in the setup of his opponent. But for now he has a replenishment potion, has the Scroll of the Beast, he's at 40 supply, so he's pretty much in recovery mode. He's pretty much in recovery mode at this point and trying to make sure that he gets something done here. AKA getting his hero levels a little bit higher, seeing if he can build a proper army on 50 supply and then maybe engage into a fight. But he needs to somehow at least get high level heroes in order to start a comeback in this game. Get a bit of item luck maybe when he goes for the spots, but here he can't even grab anything anymore. 40 supply for him, 50 for Neutron, and now we're having also the Keeper on level 4 with a Potion of Greater Mana in the inventory. And just look at the Alchemist. Alchemist doesn't only have a Scroll of Healing, but also the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, and if that wasn't enough, is nearly on level 3. And if they are now starting to take 1-2 units down, I mean, that burrow alone was already enough to ensure that he gets to the next level. So yeah, items are currently, Shadowhunter is just sitting there, wants the level 3 for the Pit Lord, but the main base gets already absolutely wrecked. I mean, the main base here is starting to lose one burrow after another. This one is pretty much down. Yep, he's supply blocked now as well, and he's going to lose the one down at the bottom too. So nearly every single Orc burrow is already eliminated, and the last one should be focused there in just a second as well. It is not a great game for Bizzare. From start to finish, that hasn't really worked out for him. Now the attempt to at least kill a few units. One archer left behind, not an Ohana moment. Ohana means family, and well, it seems like this little archer definitely did belong to it. So the Pit Lord on level 3, finally. But again, this base has been running and running and running. Bizzare is at 36 supply. He's roughly on half the supply of what we're seeing from Neutron. And he can't even do anything about it, because he needs to rebuild his burrows first before he does anything else. Now, with that said, we have also, in terms of upgrades, the resistance skin being researched and the hardened skin as well. And it's all just time to go to the healing fountains, heal up there, trying to get some experience. But boy, is that spelling trouble for the Orc player. And down here, obviously, it's also another attempt from Neutron himself to get more experience and also secure another big item, thanks to the Red Drake on level 6 for his troubles. And, I mean, he's dictating this game from start to finish. Like, at no point in this game was he really in trouble up to now. Okay, there come the Rune Braces, nothing too insane. Against Undead, you would probably just bow down when you get that item and cry a little bit because life has been good to you. But in this game, not so much against the Orc player here. Can't get too much done with that. So Cleave, as mentioned before, has been skilled on level 3 to level 2 for the Pit Lord. And the Pit Lord, what did they get? Sobi Mask. I mean, for the Shadowhunter, not too bad. And we have to point the value out again of those Serpent Wards. It's not a level 2 Serpent Ward yet that he can rely upon. He needs a little bit more experience until he hits level 4 for that. It's more the army sustain that he was worried about. The ability to just heal that army as much as possible. But again, it's still game number 1. But he's in recovery mode, and Bizzare is trying. But he is up against an opponent that is doubling his supply easily. And that fight down here isn't gonna help his chances either. The first Raider is down before the fight even started. And now we're having, with the Dryads also, a bit more slow in action. And here comes the fight, and that might even be the end of it. Already another Entangle through. The damage comes in from the archers from the back. Another Raider down, level 4, the Alchemist. And oh my boy. The auras alone are just absolutely delicious here for Neutron. He gets another Raider eliminated, and now it's time for the Pit Lord to get focused again. There's a little bit of heal through with the healing sprays, but the Pit Lord shouldn't be able to make it out either. So the Kodo Beast is already rushing away, saying like, fuck that. Moves in, sees the army and says like, guys, I don't want to be here. I don't want to eat anything. Like, I can't think about food. Have you seen how big that army is? And as the Kodo goes down, so do the hopes of Bizzare to claim the lead in the best of 3 series. He taps out GG's, and we are heading into game number 2 with a lead for Neutron in this second semi-final of the Endgame Gear Masters. Game number 2, everybody! Yeah, we're back in the semi-final, and Neutron is going to try and make this a quick 2-0 to advance to the grand final of the 3rd qualifier. And, well, with that said, we have all the way up to the top left, Bizzare, and, well, he had a tough time in the last game. He started off with the Shadowhunter first, sold the Town Portal, and actually had a big problem with the first creep jack that hit him, and it hit him hard. Like, that keeper entangled half his grunt army, and with all of the archers that came out, that started to become a big problem very, very quickly. So, as it stands, we now have already, for Bizzare, a bit of a problem in this best of 3, of course, since he lost map number 1. He needs to win 2 in a row. But if Cash in the previous series against Enter has shown one thing, then this is definitely possible. So, down to the bottom of the map, we see the forward Ancient of War again by Neutron, trying to get the early 1 archer creep through. And in terms of heroes, we're going to have him again play things off with the Keeper. Keeper gonna groove around on the map a little bit, and it feels always good to control the early game thanks to the map pressure here. But we have a Blade Master on the other side, so it's time for some Blade Master action in game number 2. After the Shadow Hunter approach didn't quite work out for him, a change in gears is now needed, and that's exactly what Bizzare is going to try and pull off here. So on Last Refuge, we have him opening things up with a bit of a different strategy. Already some Wisp Scout on the map. And, well, now for Neutron, he is really trying to set himself into that number 1 spot. Foggy couldn't play this tournament. This is the first qualifier out of 3 that Foggy wasn't able to play, and every single time that Foggy actually played a qualifier, he won that qualifier then later on. So yeah, it's going to be great to see him in the playoffs. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be actually great. And well, with this case now, what else do we have? There's already, yep, Neutron moving in, gets the item, gets also the Circlet of Nobility here. And we're having also the Blade Master still doing his thing. Selling his town portal, buying a couple of items, the Dust of Appearance, so that he can be a pain also during the night when Shadow Melt is an option for the Nightelf player. And in addition to that, we are seeing him with a Circle of Mobility. Stats boost in general are just fantastic for the Blade Master. Also boosts, of course, the damage of the critical. And critical has in the last patch also been changed a little bit. So Blizzard keeps going from, oh, crit damage gets increased by all damage that you have, to crit damage gets only changed by the stats damage boost that you have. And in the last patch, it just went back to making claws a thing again for the Blade Master. But again, the entire Windwalk setup has been changed, and in their opinion, that makes up for that. Either way, as it stands, we're actually having a potential cancel on the Orc up at the top. And that is a bit of a problem, because, well, it's a small problem, but it's definitely there. It screws up your entire build. So the build order is already screwed up, the timing here for him. And he hopes to get a bit more done with that. Obviously, with level 1 on the Keeper, there's absolutely nothing that he can do in terms of Entangle, but with all of those treants honking around there, he can do a bit of damage against the peons and try and take 1 or 2 of those down. And the Keeper already has a fair amount of experience now too. And those peons are falling. Like, one of them is already down. I think he got 2 in total. And yep, that's exactly what happened there. That's not too bad. And also with him just attacking like this, it means that the Blade Master couldn't get any harassment done at the bottom of the map. Because normally you want, obviously, the Blade Master to be the one that threatens the Wisp and your opponent to be forced to react to it. And in the meantime, we are having a Tree of Life being built by Neutron. I gotta say, like, he's killing it. He's seriously killing it. That guy is doing so well right now. He is just shutting down any kind of attempt that we are seeing from Bizzare to get control of the game. But Bizzare is still eager to make exactly that happen as he moves now down to the bottom of the map in an attempt to finally turn on the tides of the battle a little bit and ensure that he is the one who starts to take the initiative here. But yeah, it's tough going. So now we have the attack against the Ancient of War once again for just a moment. Every time, like, honestly, I just want to have some hero in Reforge that comes out and brings a flamethrower to the battle and can just insta-kill, I don't know, Nightelf trees or something. Wouldn't that be fun? That would be finally something. If Blizzard wants to balance Nightelf, that would be cool. It could be an item. It could be a neutral item that you buy. You buy a flamethrower and you just can immediately start burning trees. A little bit like with Bat Riders, just more potent. That would be pretty cool. Like, here's an idea for you, Blizzard. Like, you're welcome. Like, you can take it. You can take it. I know it's ingenious, and I know that you don't even have to pay me anything. Just put it into the game. I know it's an amazing idea, and you're welcome, Blizzard, you're welcome. So, the Blade Master is still around. The man with the big blade, trying to get at least a couple of items stolen, if not even some experience taken away. Keep in mind, he has actually a bit of a time frame where he's in trouble, and that is nasty. Yep. There we go. Blade Master is already starting to move through, doesn't get anything done, and that was a nice play. Yep, that's the power of having a Wisp at the Goblin Laboratory. As I said, Neutron is shutting every single attempt of the Blade Master down this game. Not only the Blade Master, every single attempt of Bizzare to make anything happen here. So, really well played. Now the expansion is already getting started. But yeah, that one has to be cancelled. That's the only thing that the Blade Master could accomplish here so far. At least we're having his Shadow Hunter trying to get some experience points at the top. So after he reached the stronghold, we have the hero now in play. But I gotta still give Neutron a lot of credit here for the plays that he's making so far. It's just a really solid performance from him. It's nothing too flashy, nothing too crazy. It's an insanely solid performance. He's covering all his bases, and he's therefore sets himself slightly ahead with the Tree of Life take halfway done into the Tree of Ages. We're seeing him with an expansion that is soon going to pay off too. And well, there we have also a few more items for him. Gets the experience as the Keeper is still active on the map. That's level 3 currently for him. Has the +8 damage now. And if he grabs that at any point, he has the Mantle of Intelligence to boot as well. So top side is a bit of a different story. I mean, here we're talking mainly about the Shadow Hunter trying to get additional levels so that he gets, first of all, the Healing Wave, plus also then the Serpent Ward onto a higher level. Easier to deal with all of those Huntresses that are coming out there and late game Dryads. I'm talking Huntresses, there they are. That's where the piercing damage of those Serpent Wards is starting to become a thing. Speed Scroll already used. Hunters are trying to go straight in, and there it is. The Entangle. Once again, the pressure against Bizarre's Shadow Hunter. Another Entangle, and that guy is dust. And there it is. That's the end of the Shadow Hunter. Well, we have Shamans in place. So that gives us at least the ability to dispel a little bit. But yeah, it's not quite the same thing. Whenever you go in with a Purge, obviously you can also try and control your opponent's army a little bit better. But there's also now the Wand of Illusion put to some good use. And that is something that Bizzare probably didn't expect there either. So it's just like, wait, how the hell did he get that many units? And knows obviously by now about the Wand of Illusion too. But yeah, stokes up a lot of damage here. One hunt goes down, but so does the Grunt, and that's level 4 already for the Keeper. Level 4 against level 1, just to put this into perspective. And we're still talking expansion down at the bottom of the map. Expansion is running in the main base, the Tree of Ages is ready, and now we're obviously seeing a fantastic Keeper so far playing it solo. And it's a great setup for him. Yeah, it's actually one of these plays now where Neutron, as well as he looked in game number 1, might just be able to get himself the 2-0 in this best of 3, and then advance to the grand final, where he would have to face off against Cash in the same matchup, by the way. So it would be another Nightelf versus Orc if Neutron is able to make it that far. But so far, Bizzare is still believing in his chances, and he's currently trying to get some additional experience for himself to finally get that Blade Master to level 2, which should honestly happen here, unless the Blade Master dies, because 40 hit points is not a lot. So yeah, with the Shamans now ready, you can start to get something done. And there's a lot of Purge that you now have to at least turn those Treants into insta experience. Yeah, one of them is pretty low though, and he's at 34 supply. Against 53. There's a level 2, finally. So that at least helped him a little bit. Sobi Mask also quite helpful for the Shadow Hunter, but the attack is still coming. And that aggression is something that he is not going to have an easy time dealing with. I mean, for now it's just all about getting additional experience, and if you can get that at the opponent's side of the map, steal his spots away, I mean, even better. You're just leaving him hanging dry, and you make your way back to your own base then eventually. There's a level 3 for the Alchemist. Just look at that inventory. Double Scroll of the Beast, sells 1, and has a double healing scroll. And guys, we're talking about a second hero that has now a higher level than what we're having on the first hero, plus the second hero on the opponent's side. We have a 4-3 setup on hero levels against 2-2. That's insane. That's honestly crazy. Like, the advantage for Neutron in this game is nasty. Yeah, well, another camp gets taken out here. Neutron, in the meantime, is trying to get, well, some experience. He's trying to also get maybe a couple of items that he could buy there. Boots of Speed at some point would have probably also been in the cards, but at this point, can he really afford it? Nah, it's more about the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Another Sentry Ward setup. That's of course great, since you can always check out when your opponent is moving across here. And you can also drop another one to simply see, hey, is there an expansion in play or not? So by now we have 64 supply, plus 1 attack upgrade for Neutron. And down here he's obviously not stopping at that, he's going straight into the +2. So all the glaive bouncers are going to benefit from that, whereas additional items are now coming in. And the Blade Master, actually in this case, nothing. Still roving around here. Still doesn't have a town portal, by the way. Mentioning it because that could become a problem right now. Since this is looking very much like he's at least going to lose the shop. And now we're having the Treants moving in too, and he needs to get the hell out of there. He needs to move back out. So yeah, the shop is already about to fall. And guys, if he can take down the entire row of burrows here, that would also supply block Bizzare again. I mean, even one burrow eliminated would supply block him. And yep, first one is down, second one gets repaired, the glaives keep bouncing and bouncing and bouncing, and that's another peasant down, another one, that's 2 at least eliminated with that little process. And yeah, 1 hunt falls because of the lightning shield, but well, outside of that, still a big win. You just took down 2 burrows, supply blocked your opponent. He needs even more time to recover from all of this. The Keeper is now on +14 attack. I can easily also spec into a little bit more mana. There's the Staff of Preservation now. And, I mean, he can do pretty much whatever he wants at this point. The attack towards the expansion, that's a bit of a different move though. There's no raiders with his army, so there's nothing really they can do. There's no added siege damage that would now allow him to take this one easily. So the defense is obviously there. And outside of those Serpent Wards that are on level 2, this is a pretty easy one to take down. There's no Headhunters with this either, so those hunts are having a fun time. As long as you take those Serpent Wards down. I mean, this is the Pain Train, boys. Pain Train is coming, and the Pain Train is going to bring the pain. We have 1 Book of the Dead, so that's a bit of an attempt to turn this around, at least with the help of the items that he found there earlier. But you can already tell that the Blade Master's in trouble too. Will have to use the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Does do exactly that. And Bizzare is down to 30 now in supply. 36 against 71. Another Healing Wave keeps the Blade Master alive for a little bit longer, but there it is. The Entangle and the kill. The Keeper on level 5. What a slaughter in game number 2 now. And that is going to be the end of it. Bizzare taps out, and that's a 2-0 victory for Neutron as he moves on to the grand final of the Endgame Gear Masters Qualifier number 3 and faces off against Cash. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video, and I hope that you enjoyed the match and the commentary. The remaining time of the video has been added to protect against spoilers caused by the length of the video itself. But please keep in mind, though, that this does not only mean more work for me, but also has a negative impact on the popularity of the videos and the channel because of YouTube's algorithms. It would be greatly appreciated if you'd consider supporting the channel and help me to continue the daily esports coverage by clicking the join button below the video or supporting me through the Patreon page linked in the video description. Thanks a lot for the support, and see you guys next time.